now time to check into Career Academy. Hello friends, and welcome to yet another episode of Career Academy. As always, I am your host Zawadi Kayo, and here it's all about the music industry with Teacher John, who will explain it more for us. Hello Teacher.
Hi Zawadi.
Hi.
Yep.
It is a pleasure having you on Club Kiboko.
Pleasure is all mine.
So kindly tell us more about yourself and what you do.
Okay, my name is John. Let me not use John because many people knows me as Muturi.
Yeah.
That's my name. Muturi, the music teacher.
Yeah.
I teach violin, piano, and I deal more with kids.
Yeah.
It's not like I can't deal with adults, but more with kids. I like kids. I love kids.
Yeah.
I love kids, and so that's me. John is a music teacher, music, piano.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's nice. And where did you pick up the passion for music?
Okay, there's this thing that I don't think many people really appreciate. There is KMF, Kenya Music Festivals. That happens at schools, like high schools, primary schools, and
Yeah.
we have that in the Kenya. Actually, I think that right now it's happening right now.
Yeah.
So I used to participate in music festivals at school, and from there I got the passion about this, and I wanted to take it to another level. Like I want to do more of this.
Yeah.
So, but I didn't have an idea of how to go about it. Like when you're at school and you want to do something and you don't know someone who does that.
Yes,
So, and where I come from, I can tell you, music it's not like as much as you can think of. Where I come from somewhere interior. So,
yeah.
saying that I was going to study music, they were like, "What? What's that?" So, but here we are. I'm a music teacher, and like now they really appreciate what I do.
Oh, congratulations
Yes.
on that.
Yes.
And Tisha, which music instruments do you play?
I can play piano.
Mm-hmm.
I can do violin. Another one that not many people don't know about this. I can do saxophone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
So like
wow.
3 of them. It's not like I can't do others like here and there, but the ones that I can do perfectly are those 3: the piano,
Yeah.
violin, and saxophone. So maybe guitar I can touch here and there.
Yeah.
So a few here and there.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
So you play the saxophone. To me, you
Yes.
must have some really, this really amazing amount of breath control, right?
Yes, really, but you see, everything, okay, what I normally tell my kids when I'm teaching, when you do practice on something,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter whether you have a talent or you don't have. It's all
Yeah.
about practice. So maybe you might think that maybe you need a lot of faith, but it's all about practice. When you practice, then you're good to go. It's all
Yeah.
about practice, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And out of the 3 that you play, which one is your your favorite one?
Of course, there must be a favorite, but okay, let me say violin.
Mm-hmm.
I would pick violin.
Yeah.
I would pick violin.
Okay.
Yes.
And you've mentioned to us that you deal mostly with kids.
Yes.
So what are some of the challenges you have faced while teaching children?
Okay, there are challenges, yes. Okay. Kids have, like, let's call them mood swings.
Yeah.
Like there are those days that you get to a lesson and the kid really doesn't want to do anything.
Yeah.
And the parent knows, like, okay, today you have a lesson. So then it's upon you, because the parent is not going to sit around to see what your guys are doing.
Yeah.
So then you are left there with the kid, and the kid doesn't want to study anything. Like he doesn't want even to see you.
Yeah.
So it's now upon you to know how to make this kid like cooperate. So let's say kids around 6, 7 years. Kids above 10, okay, but the kids below like 7, 6.
Yeah.
There are days that you can get into a lesson and then you are like, I don't want to do anything. Actually, they might even tell you, like, today I want to do anything. Can we just talk? There are those who can tell you, can we just talk?
Yeah.
There are those who don't want to even talk with you. Like, they don't even want to see you.
Yeah.
So those are challenges, by the way. And at the end of the day, you must do the lesson. So
Yeah.
you must know how to work your way around and get this kid to cooperate and then do the lesson. So those are some of the challenges, and we do cope with them.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
Wow. Mood swings is...
Yes. With kids, oh yeah,
Yeah.
they are there. They're there.
Okay.
Yes.
And what are some of the highlights in your career as a music teacher?
Let me say when you, okay, most of my kids, they do participate in like the music festivals, as I told you.
Uh-huh.
and when you like train a kid and you know you get to like to even to national levels,
Yes.
you really feel proud of the kid, you know. And there are kids who like still do exams, like there are the exams that we normally take kids to, like they're called DBRS, and when you train a kid and then the kid gets a distinction and you feel like you're proud of what you've done, you know.
Yeah.
And I feel when my students achieve,
Mm-hmm.
I also achieve, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
So and you feel a proud teacher of what you've been doing with the kid,
Yeah.
So some of those moments, they are really beautiful moments, you know, when you get the results and you are like, oh yes, we did this. So it's a teamwork, of course,
Yeah.
the teacher and the student.
Okay.
Yes.
And as a person in the music industry,
Mhm.
what's your favorite genre of music?
Let me say, okay, okay. Well, I started my music as a classical musician. That's why I started, because you see, no, when you start music, like an instrument like violin, most violinists start there. You start with classical,
Yeah,
because you
yeah.
see now you learn how to read music, you know, like staff and notes on the staff, all
Yeah.
this, you know.
Mhm.
So you start as a classical musician. So my love for classical music has never faded till today. I've been into like, you know, like pop music, you know, like
Yeah.
all other, but my love for classical music until date, I'm still a fan of classical, you know, like Beethoven, like Sebastian Bach, like Mozart, you know. Maybe I don't know, you don't know who are those, but
No, I don't have any
but they're
idea.
there. They're those classical musicians that were there, you know, like
Yeah.
1700 and so forth. But classical music till date, for me.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's interesting.
Yes.
Yeah. You mentioned to us that your favorite instrument is the violin, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
How long did it take you to professionally play the violin?
Okay, let me say I can't really figure, because okay, well, I started my first time to hold a violin. That was back in 2013, 2012, I think 2012, 2013. That was the first time that I had my first violin.
Yeah.
So, and before that, I was doing piano. I was learning piano before that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then I felt like I need another instrument, you know, like you feel like, okay, I can only teach one instrument. And then you feel like, okay, I need another instrument. So, what came into my mind was saxophone came into my mind first.
Yeah.
But then, how to acquire a saxophone was not an easy thing, by the way, because a saxophone is way much expensive than a violin.
Yeah.
So I couldn't get a saxophone. So what came into my mind then was violin. So then, getting a violin was not that hard for me then. So I went and got a violin. That was 2012, I think, yes. So since 2012, I think I went up to 2013,
Mm-hmm.
2014, and then I started teaching violin. I think it was around 2015. That's when I started. I was teaching piano before.
Yeah.
So then I started teaching violin, I think it was around 2015. So that means by 2015, I was already some. But you see now, all these comes to your practice.
Yeah.
How often do you practice your instrument? Because you see, I might get an instrument today, and 7 years later, I'm still the way I was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I don't do practice. You see, now, if I don't do practice, 7 years later, I will still be the same. The
Yeah.
same, you know. So if you like get an instrument today and you are so determined to know, like, I want to play this instrument, let me tell you, within 2-3 years you can be a professional player. It
Yeah.
all depends with how much time you give to that instrument, you see.
Yeah.
So it's all about practice. So it's not like I couldn't have started teaching with like in 2013 or 2014, but I felt like I needed to grow more, you know.
Yeah.
So, because you know, you can be a teacher and you are teaching someone and yet you are not perfect yourself, you know. So how about if you get a kid who is even ahead of you?
Yeah.
You see, it's a challenge, and
Yes,
and
yes,
you
yes.
you know what do you do? So I felt like I want to be perfect on this. So and when I was done with my exams and all that, so I now thought that I can get into this. So I think it was around like 3 years maybe there. So and then I was there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
And how do you get children to join your classes?
Most of my kids, because I do one-on-one lessons, so mostly the parents like contact me like, okay, I have a kid and I think he or she is interested with an instrument or two. So what we normally do is this. When you are starting a kid, most of them, they are not like really decided what they want to do. Like they want to do music, but they don't know what they want to do.
Yeah.
Others, the parent decide for them, like I want my kid to do something.
Yeah.
I want them to do violin. It's not a kid's choice maybe to do violin, but the parent like decides, okay, I want my girl to do, I want my boy to do violin. So now, now this is the problem now I normally get when you're starting lessons.
Yeah.
I once had a kid who was interested in doing violin, but he didn't know like how easy or how hard is it, how it is to learn like the violin.
Yeah.
So when I got there, the mother bought the violin for the boy. Now, when we started lessons, I think the boy just realized that he didn't know that it was not as easy as he used to see. You know, when you are looking at other kids doing something and you feel like, I can do this.
Yeah.
But then when you are there, you feel like, it's not as easy as I thought. So the boy just decided to drop violin. So the mom had bought the violin, it's in the house. Now the boy decided, I don't want this anymore. So now what we knew like, okay, now if you drop this, it will be like, even if you go for another instrument, he'll just drop it, like it will be just like that.
Yeah.
And so what the mother did, decided to like, okay, now you have to do it. If you want to do another instrument, you will do it, but you still have to do this.
Yeah.
At times, I feel like it works. It works. Because right now, he does violin. He does violin and he's good.
Oh, wow.
He's good. So if we went with what he wanted us to do, like to drop the violin. Actually, we started piano. Later, we started piano. But later he dropped piano and remained with violin, the one he didn't want to do in the first place.
Yeah.
So he went with it. So up to date, he's a violinist. So I feel like sometimes the pressure works. From the parent, it works.
Okay.
Yes.
And you said that parents sometimes just choose what they for their children what they should do. So could you kindly give the parents there at home short advice on how to help their children who want to pursue in music?
Okay. If like for parents who like feel like, okay, I have a kid that maybe is interested in music, there are concerts around. Like for those maybe around Nairobi, there are concerts all over, like during Christmas, during Easter, there are concerts. So if you feel like your kid is so much interested in these things, you can take your kid there. So if you go with your kid to such a concert, so you might see that one of your, maybe let's say maybe you have a boy or a girl, he's so much into like, I want that, maybe a violin. There are so many instruments like in an orchestra. So because you see those concerts are performed by orchestras. Like orchestra has violins, saxophones, trumpets, like all the instruments are there. So when you go to such a concert, like you feel like your kid will be like, okay, I want that. So you start figuring out, okay, he's interested in this. But some of these things, you still need an advice from someone who knows how. Because for me, I feel like there are instruments which are like, your kid needs to like test them first. An instrument like, let's talk of brass. Brass, like those are trumpets, trombone, cornets, those. I normally see those instruments on brass bands. I know you've seen a brass band, like the army, those ones. So those instruments for kids, for the first thing you need to do, maybe let the kid have a trial, because it's not as easy as it looks for those instruments. So there are those, but for strings like violin, viola, cello, those ones, you don't even have to have a trial, because those ones are okay. But for brass, I feel like it's tough for brass. So just know the different instruments and how they are played, and maybe take the kid to such concerts and get the kid exposed to instruments as early as before you even think of lessons. So now when you're starting lessons, again, it's good to start with an instrument like piano. Even if the kid is not going to be a pianist at the end of the day. But a piano is always the best instrument to start learning music instruments. Because like all the music instruments take you back to the piano. The ones that you learn, like the keys on the scales, there are things that we call scales, the keys, all those things that you learn on piano will help you when you are learning another instrument. And teaching a kid who is coming from piano, teaching such a kid anything else, it's easy. If I get a kid that had basics on piano, And then I'm like, teach this kid how to play. Like, I'm giving you this kid, like, can you teach him how to play violin? It's easy. It's not like starting from someone who has not like learned anything. So piano might be the best starting point, and that will make the work easier even later.
Okay.
So I think that would be the best point to start on the piano.
Got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. Wow, Tisha, that was quite an insight. So as we wrap up, do you have social media handles where people can find you, or physical addresses? Kindly tell us.
Yes, I do. My social media handles are Muturi Music. Like, that is Muturi Music on TikTok, Muturi Music on Facebook, Muturi Music on IG.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your time, Tisha. It was a pleasure.
You're welcome, Zawadi.
Well, friends, I do hope you picked something here and there from today's interview. Till next week. Bye-bye. Well, friends, it has been wonderful spending time with you on today's episode of Club Kiboko. Let's do this next week, same time, same place, same host. Bye-bye.